Everybody here for Growing Up Hip Hop Season 1, Episode 1. So let's get into it. It was a pretty good episode. We got to meet all the cast, with some of the cast we're familiar with. Some we don't know, but we know their parents. So let's get into it. So first person we meet is Mr. ICDC himself, Romeo Miller. And, he's just letting us know he's been busy with his own clothing line, I guess getting back into music and partying or whatever, hosting parties. I mean, when you are a celebrity of that caliber, you do get a lot of bookings for like parties, to host parties and whatnot. So, he meets up with his dad the next day, and his dad is basically telling him, well, this is the history of No Limits. I started this when I had nothing, and I want to pass the torch down to you, but back then I had nothing to lose. You have everything to lose, because how I grew up and how you grew up is two different things, and I just want to make sure you're ready to take over. So Romeo was kind of unsure. He's not really sure if he's ready to take over No Limit Records, but he knows that he wants to. So it's just basically a decision that he has to make at some point. Next, we meet Angela Simmons, who is Rev Run from Run DMC's daughter, as you all probably know, from watching Run's House and Daddy's Little Girls, or Daddy's Girls, the name of the show was, with her and her sister. So right now she has her own faux fur line called Foofy, I think it's called. That's the weirdest name. The last time I heard somebody say Foofy, it was Brigitte Nielsen calling Flavor Flav Foofy. So, she's just doing like a lookbook for her faux fur line, and she mentions to her, I think that it was her stylist, Kaneo, or her assistant, somebody, I forgot who she was. But she mentions to her that her and Romeo are like really good friends. And she's thinking, well, maybe y'all could be more than friends. And she's like, yeah, there is a chemistry there, but that's my road dog. We go way back. We're cool. So, she's like, well, everybody wants me to get with Romeo, and that's not the case. He has a girlfriend. We're just really good friends or whatever. And I'm like, meh. Like, whatever. If he has a girlfriend, then it should just be left alone like that. Next we meet Christinia, and she's Christinia DeBarge, and she's James DeBarge's daughter from the group DeBarge, the family. If you've never seen the episode of Unsung with DeBarge, James DeBarge was the guy that married Janet Jackson when they were really, really young, and who people claim they had a baby together that Janet gave up early in her career. I don't know how true that is, but the girl that they saying that's her daughter looks just like her. But then again, they're saying, I think her name is Stevana or something. They're saying that's I think that's Jermaine's daughter, but she does look a lot like Janet. She does, but I don't know how true that rumor is. I don't know what to think about it. If it is true, then whatever. But anyway, Christina, James DeBarge's daughter. So the group DeBarge, they were like they were a group that was big back in the day. A lot of people sampled their songs, like Biggie sampled the song for them for One More Chance, and Tupac, Mary J. Blige, Blackstreet all sampled A Dream, a Simple Fantasy. That like a lot of people sampled from them, and they were a good group until they all fell victim to addiction. Like, addiction is no joke. So Christinia, she's I think she's like in a studio, and her uncle L DeBarge visits, and she says that she wants to visit her dad, and L is basically like, I don't think that's a good idea, because you don't want to see your dad like that. And it said that he's in jail for drug possession. So she's really wanting to see him, because she hasn't seen him in 4 years. But her uncle is just worried about how the outcome is going to be from seeing her dad in prison. So she has a lot to think about as well. So Angela is waiting. She's at a hotel. She's waiting for her package to arrive with her faux fur samples, and a package comes and it has her name on it. It doesn't have like a return sticker or anything. So she's like, huh, this is weird. So her and her friend opened the package, and it's a dirty teddy bear and a note basically saying, hey, I'm in town. Let me know where I can find you and we can meet up. But it has no name, no return address, nothing. So she's like, this is weird. Like, this is a weird, gift to be sending somebody. So now we get to Romeo and his girlfriend Tanita, and they're in New York for Angela's fur fashion show. And he posted a picture up of him and her on his Instagram. Naturally, a bunch of ignorant people, keyboard thugs, hiding behind their Instagram accounts is talking about, oh, he wouldn't be doing all of this if he were with a black woman and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, people, well, at the time, well, no, it's 2016. Okay, I mean, at the time that this was filmed, it was 2015, but let's just get it together, people. Like, it is a new day. The only way to kill ignorance is not to be a part of it. And for people to sit up here and say that this man can't be with a white woman in 2016 is bananas, and it's retarded, and people need to stop worrying about what everybody else is doing. Stop worrying about who everybody else is loving, and just leave it alone. They're not hurting anybody. Apparently they're together because they truly love each other. Let it be. Why do you care? That's their relationship. If you feel that strongly about it, then build a bridge and get over it, because at the end of the day, it's none of your business. Like, really. So Romeo was really bothered by the comments, and he's just like, people always say don't let stuff like that get to you, but it's hard not to when people always have something to say about you. And I'm like, yeah, it's really, really sad, but that's just the world we live in. People have strong beliefs and strong differences, and it's like they don't have respect for each other and their differences. And until we get respect for our differences, this is how the world is going to always be. It's plain and simple. So Angela is meeting up with her team, going over her samples, and Romeo arrives and they're talking, and it was like a little bit of an awkward moment because they were asking him, oh, where's your girlfriend? And she's like, he's like, she's back at the hotel or whatever. And Angela was like, well, why didn't you bring her? I would love to meet her. And he was like, well, I didn't really, he said something to the effect of, I didn't really want her here or whatever. I'm trying to get her to be more like you. And Angela is like, why can't she be like herself? Like, that's your girlfriend. And I'm like, Romeo, what are you really trying to say? Are you saying that you like Angela? Because, that's the vibe I'm getting just from the two of y'all. So, we meet, who we meet next? We meet, Boogie Dash, who is Damon Dash's son. And, he has an art gallery, like an art gallery showing. And Damon Dash is there, of course. Damon is basically saying that him and I think that Damon is saying that I think Boogie and Romeo should collab on something and make it great. Peppa and her daughter Egypt arrive, and we meet Egypt, and we all know Egypt is the daughter of Peppa and Tretch from Naughty by Nature. And basically Egypt wants to be a rapper like her mom, I believe. So Romeo was asking Angela how's everything going as far as the fashion show, and she's saying, it's a lot, picking out samples and getting everything together. It is a bit stressful, but I'm dealing with it. So in hearing her talk about this, Damon Dash is just like, oh, your stress is so cute, basically telling her that she shouldn't be stressed about something like that when there's people out here who have bigger problems. And I'm like, how you gonna tell this girl to be stressed, that she can't be stressed? Yeah, you grew up different than she did, but just because she grew up different from you does not mean that she can't be stressed out. Like, I'm like, really? Like, Damon Dash was a douche for that. But, we get to Christinia, and she's going down memory lane with her mom and her aunt, and looking at pictures of her as a baby, and looking at pictures of her mom. She sees pictures of her dad, and she's really feeling guilty that she hasn't been to see him, that she hasn't really talked to him. Like, she's really, really missing her dad. So Romeo and Angela are talking, And Angela's basically saying, I am a little bit upset and I feel a kind of way for what Damon was saying about me talking about the issues that I'm having as far as this show goes. I mean, I knew we grew up different, but you can't tell me that I can't be stressed or I can't feel a certain kind of way. And I'm like, yeah, you can't tell somebody how they should feel because they grew up different from you. Like, that just makes no sense to me. So Boogie meets up with Dame Dash. Dame Dash is getting a tattoo, and they were talking about Boogie was telling Dame about how Angela is feeling, and Dame was like, well, I wasn't trying to hurt her feelings. I'm just saying she grew up different from how we grew up. We had to, struggle. We had incidents where we almost died and all that, but we made it through. So, I mean, I'm not saying that she can't be stressed. I'm just saying, like, her stress and our stress is two different things, and she doesn't really have anything to be stressed about. You just making it a problem. You making no problem a problem, and that's all I was saying. I'm like, still, you can't tell a person how they should feel about what's going on in their lives. That's not fair. So, Reverend and Angela meet up, and they're discussing Romeo and a relationship with him, and she tells him that she got the dirty teddy bear, and he's like, well, I think canceling your fashion show would be a great idea, because if this person knows where you are and they were able to get the package to your front door, then that means they're following you. So I think you should cancel the fashion show, but being that you might not want to, then maybe you should up your security, because this is a dangerous situation. That person can find you and harm you in any way, so you should strongly consider upping your security. So next we meet TJ Mazel, and that's Jam Master Jay's son from Run DMC also. And Jam Master Jay was killed in 2002, I think. He was shot and killed at a Queen studio in 2002. Still ain't found his killer. So they were basically discussing Angela being all work and no play. Like, she's just boring. She's just so focused, but she needs to get out and she needs to have fun. And then her and Romeo took a picture together. It wasn't nothing serious. It was like really, really innocent. But they took pictures together, and everybody, just off of one picture, the blogs and everybody go crazy saying, hey, little Romeo and Angela together and blah, blah, blah. So they were like, people always making assumptions off of pictures, not knowing the real story. And I'm like, that's definitely true. Me, I like to fact check stuff before I talk about it. So I run to Google for everything. And that's what a lot of these bloggers need to do. Like, a lot of times what bloggers do is they pull information out of their ass and then just write a story about it. And a lot of it be false. So, I'm tired, y'all. I'm sorry. So, like, a lot of the stories don't be making sense. They don't be adding up. It be a lot of retractions after a while. So Google is your friend, like I've been saying. So Christinia is packing for New York, and she's discussing with a friend about Romeo and how she had a crush on him when she was younger. She doesn't remember if Romeo remembers that they met at one point in time. When all this is going on, she gets a text from her uncle basically saying, hey, I have some bad news about your dad. So she's calling, I think either Angela or Romeo. I think she's calling Angela. And Angela's not picking up because Angela is at she's at TJ's birthday party. Sorry. Angela's at TJ's birthday party, so she's not picking up her phone. So Christinia, I guess, goes to meet up with her uncle, and then it ends right there for her. So, now we see Pepper with Salt's daughter, Corinne, and her daughter, Egypt. And she trying to sneak Egypt into the club. I'm like, yo, Pepper is a cool mom. But the guy was like, well, Egypt is not old enough, so she can't come in. So Pepper sent her back home in the car. So, it's TJ's birthday, and they're all having fun. Next thing you know, somebody came up behind Angela and was like, hey, Angela. And she was like, oh my gosh, that's the stalker. So then they all got up from their section and ran off. Ran and got in the car and drove off, and it ended right there. So, I mean, so far, this was a pretty good episode. Everybody that's casted, you know, I know each of their parents. They're a part of hip-hop, R&B history. They're legends. So, I mean, it'll be interesting to see their kids try to follow in their footsteps and, you know, do good, do well, and whatnot. So, yeah, this was a pretty good episode, and I will be reviewing this. I like this show so far. But yeah, so that was Growing Up Hip Hop, season 1, episode 1. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.